Galing ha, impromptu ha. And the podcast will begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Joseph Bayan, what's up, my brother?
What's up?
Joseph Bayan of Bayan Promotions in the studio, live at Paco's Place on the Paco Arespacochaga podcast. I am very happy to have you here.
I'm very humbled to be here.
You actually did not win any prize. You would have won bragging rights. However, and I will say however, before the farthest guest was Phil Recto, 120 miles away. So prior to that, no, not that. And then after that was, who was next? Day Rose, no? JJ? Day Rose, 1,000 miles away.
Wow.
And you're what, 500 miles away?
Yeah.
Where is home?
Home is in San Jose, California,
Okay.
close to the Bay Area.
Thank you for driving all the way to be here at Paco's Place. I really appreciate it. So what's up with Bayan Promotions?
What's up for Bayan Promotions? So if you guys want to know what's up with Bayan Promotions, I advise you guys whenever you guys are going to be watching this podcast, it might be 2 days from now, 1 month from now, just go to bayanpromotions.com and you'll see all the activities, all the shows that we're going to be having in this year, 2020.
So let's talk about that. What is it that you guys do?
Bayan Promotions is dedicated to promoting shows. Okay.
What kind of shows? OPM?
OPM, because as our mission statement goes, is spreading Filipino pride. So we are solely focused on OPM artists, not only promotions, but we also do staffing.
Wow.
So if producers out there don't have enough staff, we could line produce for you guys, and we provide all the staff for you.
Now, question: when before we get into what Bayan Promotion does, when did you start Bayan Promotions?
Wow. Officially, when I say officially, when we got everything rolled out in the carpet, probably a year now.
Okay. Prior to that,
I was just sharing, posts for Intervoice, technically promoting them already, not knowing that what I'm doing is already promoting. But then all of a sudden right here, this man next to me, Mr. Paco Arespacochaga, my mentor, showed me how to do it the right way. Okay. So
and prior to this, you were doing multi-level marketing, no?
yes.
What started you in the networking business?
Just curiosity. My aunt was saying, why don't you try this? This is how much you can earn, all this stuff. And then my wife Marianne goes, try it. So I did try it with her support.
So she was encouraging.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I went all out, marketing. It's just marketing. That's what it is anyway. So cut the story short, we went down the road and just started promoting the product until we got a chance to go to Elk Grove for a Barrio Fiesta
In Sacramento.
which you guys were playing.
Yeah.
That's where we met.
That's where I met
Yeah.
you. That was back in 2016, no?
Yeah, 2016.
Wow.
Yeah.
Long time. I've been suffering for that long after meeting you.
Yeah.
Okay. So doing that, did it ever occur to you that after meeting me and the rest of Introvoice that, you know what, I would like to do this kind of work?
Well,
Because I remember inviting you to our show at Ichiban to promote your products, remember? That was the start of
yeah.
come on over, promote your products. But eventually you ended up being in the industry as opposed to recruiting us to do your multi-level marketing.
So, yeah, that was the whole point, just to recruit you guys,
So when you saw us, you were like, prospects, let me recruit this. So how did it end up, instead of you recruiting artistas to be part of your multi-level marketing network, how did we turn you onto the bright side? Because you were turning us to the dark side. No, just kidding.
Well, you talked to me about it. You spoke to me and told me, you know what? You're doing this multi-level marketing and you persuaded me. Why don't you try doing the same thing, but in this kind of industry? Because my whole point was the turning point that I knew you were a prospect when you collapsed. Remember that?
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is a perfect time for me to introduce the product.
pitch.
See how
Right.
you feel right after taking.
Yes.
And then from there, you experience it.
Right.
You eventually might.
Right, but I never bought. Di ba?
Yeah, you never.
So, but then again, I just took you to one gig and now you're a promoter.
Yes.
So you bought.
Yes. it all started out with that first anniversary. Remember, for first Vita Plus.
Yeah.
That's when I started getting into, okay, this is how it is.
You saw the behind the scenes
Yeah.
of what being in the music industry was. Now, so who have you rubbed elbows with ever since 2016?
Well, aside from you guys, the intro voice, I got Perf de Castro of River Maya, Basti
Yeah.
Atardi of Wolfgang,
H-Bomb.
H-Bomb.
Yeah.
Who else? Geneva Cruz,
Morissette.
Morissette, River Maya, all three, Mark Squeta, the whole band.
Nathan. Mike.
Mike and Nathan, Ayman. Just lately with Martin Rivera and Pops,
Yeah.
Gary Valenciano, who else? Daniel Padilla. So just to name,
Just to name a few.
just to name a few.
So and when you're in the moment, do you ever look back thinking, wow, I'm actually rubbing elbows with these celebrities?
Actually, yeah, I look back and I'm like, I never thought I'd get to this part of my life,
Right.
that I'd be able to rub elbows with celebrities. But I treat every celebrity just like a regular person. I don't get overwhelmed like, wow, this, that. But I just like when I met you guys, like, cool,
You're having fun, naman.
I'm having fun. That's the bottom line. In this business, yeah, you get to that part where you stress out a little bit. Ticket sales are not going, but the fun part is seeing that you're able to put together 300, 400, 500 crowd all in one place for one event.
Was it easy?
I wouldn't say easy, but with the help of everybody, it seems easy.
What are the how do I say it? What are the misconceptions of producing a show?
Misconceptions.
Because people think it's easy work, but thousands of dollars can be lost in one show.
Yeah. Well, it's the proper of just being focused. What I've learned is being focused on the shows. If you have one project, don't put your eyes or ears on any other projects
Right.
until you get that project signed, sealed, and delivered.
Right.
Once that's on the launching pad, then fine. But then you still can't say it's on the launching pad until that very day. To me, I feel like, misconception of being a producer is like they think it's just, all right, you play the play button, it's done. But what they don't know is behind the scene, you got to run the marketing. You got to make sure your logistics is right. You got to make sure your budget is right. You can't just say, yeah, I want a glamorous show and just spend money left and right. You want a glamorous, but at the same time, you want to keep a tight budget.
On that note, part of the biggest factor in a concert are your audience, right?
Yes.
How do you sell tickets? I know that you've done the one-on-one, like talk to family and friends, the online marketing, but that can be stressful, because people will promise you that they'll buy. When does it get scary?
Oh, it gets scary towards like the week before the show.
Tell our audience how your feelings go from, let's say, 3 months before the show. Yan.
Well, 3 months before you're super energetic. Like, I got this. I'm gonna sell this, and that. Oh, it's moving. But one week before the show, you start looking back your ticket sales. Like, okay, my margin was, a week before everything should be done, and just be thinking about production.
Right.
That doesn't happen. Even though you plan it every single show, it doesn't always happen like that.
And I've noticed also that you like challenges. Other people will just get an artist with an SRO crowd, standing room only, which means I'll pay top dollar and then it'll sell itself. But you pride yourself, Bayan Promotions prides itself in the fact that you can actually market an artist who doesn't have that much of a draw, right? How do you guys do it?
Just proper exposure, I mean, in this industry, it's all about exposure. I mean, bring out how many hits that certain artist makes on top of your head and just promote within that hits, basically. So ganun lang ano dun eh. It's tough sometimes, but then eventually with God's grace, it ends out to be okay.
What makes you cry?
Oh, dude, I mean, you can't imagine the very first show that we did. pop rock, hip hop. Remember
Yes.
that?
Tell our audience your
So-
experience.
At first, it was the same experience I was telling.
And excuse me, the reason why I want them to know this is because there are listeners who have been thinking of being in a band, of producing shows and all that, right? And the reason why I want them to hear your story is because they might think it's easy. Yes, it's doable, agree?
Yes,
But it's not easy.
it's not easy.
And the first time you thought it was easy and doable, but you found out the hard way. So tell them that moment where you really... We want to hear that.
All right, so very, very first ever show is the launch of the Bayan Promotions, right? So, like I said, 1 week before, the tickets wasn't there. You know?
But then again, you thought the tickets were there.
Yes, I was thinking positive. I believe I recall you checking up on me, say how's the tickets, and I'm all
Sold
telling
out.
you it's sold out, sold out. I'm all
Because
being positive.
even H-Bomb, who was part of that concert, kept saying, Joseph Bayan said the tickets are sold out. And I'm like, really? Okay, keep talking.
So the day of the event, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that went down, you know, down from our caterer trying to hold us up, you know, with a whole bunch of things. But bottom line is the show started, I started seeing people come in, right? 1, 2, 3. And all of a sudden the venue's like half full. And I went to you guys' dressing room. I'm like, guys, we're half full.
Which is good.
Right? And then you just took me in your arms like and hugged me. I was like, you know, I was like teary. And then I went back again. People keeps on coming into the venue. I was like, wow.
And on a side note, our show was on the same date as Piolo Pascual and Inigo Pascual's show.
Yes.
In the same area.
Yes.
In the same area.
It was like probably 12 miles away from our venue.
Yes.
So that was also, I was thinking, you know, because we're being challenged by Piolo. I mean, Piolo versus a rock band.
Papa P versus Papa P.
Diba? So, and then come to think of it, at the end of the show, there's some media that came by. He said, you have a full house compared to the Piolo. I was
Right.
like, I was in awe. I was like, really? You know, that really made the turning point in my life that if I can gather up this much many people in one event, it's tough, but how much more that's heartwarming for me and the fans,
Yeah.
you know, to do another event like this.
Now, you always tell me after one event, and guys take note because this guy would always say after an event, that's it. I don't want to do this anymore. This is my last event. I won't do this anymore because of the stress, right?
Yes.
Why do you keep doing it?
It's passion. I
Or
mean,
is it addicting? Like
it is addicting. Just like for example, October, right? The last show that we had was September.
yes,
River Mind. We all said to each other,
that's it.
"That's it, vacation. We're not gonna think about anything, nothing." And all of a sudden, I got a call from Reagan John Production
For South Border.
for South Border. I'm like, very tempting. I was thinking about all of us, and all right, let's do it.
What did your wife say?
My wife said, I thought you guys were going on vacation. And I was like, yeah, but it's South Border.
Now, do you guys fight over this?
Not really fight. We talk about it to where, did you consult it with Paco? That's what we mostly fight about. Because if you guys don't know, Paco Arespacochaga is my partner at Bayan Promotions, my mentor, my advisor. So we're in this together. So we have to see eye to eye. So every time, because people aren't going to approach Paco.
No.
They're going to approach me.
Yes.
So once people approach me, my wife would go, did you consult Paco? I'm like, I will. Because I have to present to Paco in a good way the way I see it.
Right.
Because I just can't say, oh, here it is. And then I know, you're going to just turn around and...
Of course, I'm going to ask you 10,000 questions of how it can go wrong.
Yeah.
And you have to answer all of them.
Exactly.
So I know that you know how to make it right.
Yeah.
Diba?
So that's the thing. I got to have a back pocket with answers already.
Of course.
So it takes a while for me to contact him. I got to make sure my back is covered. But it doesn't really... Like I said, like any show, it's not perfect.
Right. Like, I remember I keep telling you, don't put your name behind this event. If you want to help out, help out. Now, let's talk about bands. Because you have a reputation of helping the local artists as well. Who were the first? Dayan de Mesa. There was another one.
There was
Hyacinth.
Hyacinth. We have Hyacinth Dayan de Mesa. We have Monumental by far.
Monumental by far. Yes, yes.
So those three so far, that's what I'm focusing on because
Why?
I believe because right now they're so-called front acts, right? But our goal basically in Bayan Promotions is to take them out of that front act
Right.
acronym, basically.
Right.
So we want to have audience, gain audience. Okay, have them have their own audience, and eventually put up their mini concert. Like it could be 20, 30, and eventually it will grow.
Right.
I mean, there's like Hyacinth is a big potential, just because he's been taught by Miriam Pantig.
Oh yeah. Very
Yeah.
very good singer.
Very good singer. And actually, Venny Saturna wrote a song that she's singing now. And throughout the shows that she's been opening for us, she gradually changed. I see the change in her.
How can you change the music scene in the Bay Area?
How
Because that's
can-
where you are, right? You're
Yeah.
in the Bay Area. How can you make it better? Because right now everybody is still focused on bringing in artists from the Philippines, and nothing against that. Of course, we want everybody to to get a shot, but this is done at the expense of the local artists,
Yes.
right? And then we have our audience who are excited to buy tickets when it's an artist from the Philippines, but they're kind of like, meh. If it's an artist from the US, how can you change the landscape where they get excited with the likes of Hyacinth, Monumental by far, or even Divo Bayer,
Bayer,
like these local artists who are quite good.
Yeah.
How do you intend to change that?
To be honest, that's a challenging part because how we are Pinoys here in the U.S. are different than Pinoys in the Philippines. So the challenging part because medyo matikuloso ang Pinoy sa Amerika. Diba? So they want to hear that, make sure that the artist's vocals are good, presentation is good, they're not bored. Changing it, I'll be honest with you, it's still there.
And the reason why I say this, imagine, Filipino artist, Philippines. Filipinos in the Philippines appreciate the Filipino artists in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. They're both in the Philippines. Filipinos in America, Filipino artists in America. You'd expect the Filipino artists from America to be liked by the Filipinos in America. But that is not often the case. Right?
Right.
I am hoping that one day maybe you or people like you would make a conscious effort to really push the local Pinoy artists so that Filipinos in America will be aware of them. Actually, that's the push of Paco's Place.
Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to do here with this program. But on your end, give me ideas on how you guys can do that.
Well, one is continuously promote them, put a small show for them, continuously
Right.
promote them, whether it's 10, 20 people, still put shows for them. Just continuously market them. Not only that, market them side by side. Let's say we bring in, for example, River Maya.
Yeah.
Market them with that and make sure they sink in with that. And just, I guess it's continuously marketing each local artist,
That's a good thing.
which is very challenging, like you said. But then if continuously, it's just like any commercial. If people continuously see them,
But you know what? That's good. Like, wouldn't it be nice? Let's take Monumental by far for instance, because they're a band. Their singer, si Ferds, is a good songwriter, right? And I've reached out to him and actually told him, dude, you've been fronting for too long. It seems that you get excited fronting for these artists. And I remember him producing rap artists.
Yeah.
Right? My question to myself, I hope Ferds is listening, is you're a band. If you had the capacity to bring artists from the Philippines, why didn't you bring a band? And then since you're the producer, why don't you play side by side with that popular band in the Philippines? So now local Filipinos living in the Bay Area and elsewhere can be enticed by the fact that this is a band from the Philippines who is popular, but at the same time, Ferds and Company, Monumental by far, can take advantage of that and actually promote themselves as a viable alternative, which is local. So, how come bands haven't thought of that or artists haven't thought of that?
You're absolutely right. One thing is one thing I remember when we did, when did they do that? Because eventually those Filipino artists will leave,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And if they're able to capture them during the show,
Those fans are orphaned.
yeah. Once they leave, they're here. They listen to them and they know how good they are.
Because I remember, Intro Voice was going to have its concert, and we needed a fresh crowd. And because this was Hollywood, we were bound to do the Whiskey A Go-Go. Whiskey Go-Go. Is it Whiskey A Go-Go or Whiskey Go-Go? Whiskey Go-Go. And so sabi namin, we need to tap into someone else's fan base. Regine Velasquez was going to have a concert. So what I did was I went to Star Media and I actually presented Intro Voice as a viable participant to this concert. And this was a pay-to-play thing. Like I remember Vic Perez telling me, sell 20 VIP tickets. And VIP tickets were like 100 plus. Sell 20 VIP tickets. And then I go, what's in it for me if I sell 20 VIP tickets? Well, then you get to perform with Regine Velasquez. And I said, can you at least put us as part of the meet and greet so that when Regine Velasquez stays to do the meet and greet with the fans, Intro Voice will be around Regine Velasquez. That way, we'll be there. We'll be there. Regine Velasquez will be there. Then her fans can see us and all that stuff. And so, Vic Perez and Ana Puno said, yeah, go ahead, do that. And you know what happened? We were able to get fans of Regine Velasquez, and we had a sold-out crowd at the Whiskey A Go-Go.
It's funny you mentioned about selling tickets when you guys did.
Yeah.
I think I really highly advise all the people that front act for us to highly sell tickets because that's how they gather their own crowd,
That's true.
right? Now, if they're able to say, let's say 50, that's 50 crowds, and then 50 more the following shows, that's 100.
And now they can do their own show.
Exactly. So, I mean, all the local artists out there that are front acts for us, that's the goal. So don't be offended if we tell you 50 tickets.
But why would they be offended? Like I remember back in the day, when we were starting as kids, these producers would tell us that we had to sell 20 tickets or else we wouldn't be part of the bill. And we would gladly do that because there were 5 members in Intro Voice. And so 20 tickets divided by 5, that's like 4 tickets each.
Yeah.
Right? And I would sell that to my mom, to my dad, to my aunt, and my cousin, and that was it. And we would do the same thing. But nowadays, it seems that there is, I don't know if you've encountered it, but some acts have an entitled mentality
Yeah.
wherein they think that they should be given a shot to perform at this event because they're a local artist.
Yes.
What's your take on that?
I think they gotta basically look within themselves. See if they're really entitled. I mean, yeah, you played, but the thing is, can you draw a crowd? Now, if you can draw a crowd, then you're entitled.
Right.
Because if you can draw a crowd of 100, by all means, okay. But if you can only draw 20, 50, you still have something to prove to yourself that, I mean, not to the crowd, not to anybody, but to yourself, to your group, that you can actually pull a crowd. But if you're automatically, thinking about you're entitled just because you played so many years, the longevity doesn't have nothing to do with it. It's the amount of people you gather.
How do you pick your artists?
As far as local artists?
Yes.
Well, one, physically, and then you have to have a good voice, okay? And I usually, watch them in other shows and offer them to be with Bayan Promotions. Kind of scouting.
Right.
That's what I do. I listen how good they are. From the previous past lessons that I've learned that you gotta, it has to be a complete package. You gotta have a good voice, good personality, appearance, professional. Personality has 100% to do with it. Because you can't have a bad personality and go into this business. Because, some personality, they think they're all high and mighty. But in this business, you gotta be humble. You gotta better be ready to be humble, because being humble will take you places.
Now, speaking of humility and being humble, have you been taken advantage of?
A few times, but
okay.
but it wasn't 100% full. Taking advantage, because you were there to put a stopper on me.
Yeah, but if I wasn't there,
I would have been, But again, it was during my
greenhorn years.
So
Tell me about the times that people took advantage of you. And let's pretend I wasn't there. What do you think would have happened? We know who they are. What do you think would have happened to you? And how did they take advantage of you? So this way, other promoters or producers will not fall into the same trap that you fell into.
Well, I'm not going to name the show, but it's just a matter of taking advantage of my time.
And in your industry,
in my industry, time is very, very valuable.
Okay.
I can't really, your focus and your time go together.
right?
Because if I'm working on a project, somebody would say, I need this now. Not necessarily in that form of voice, but in a way, well, can you do this for me? And me very, very forgiving.
Not only that, your fault is it's hard for you to say no.
Exactly. And even, and I go yes all the time, and I do it, and then I end up being lagging on my own project. And that's how everything falls apart, And in some shows, the show might have been over already, but when it's my turn to ask a favor, they're not there for me.
They say no.
Yeah. But then, like you said, I always say yes. So that's the part that I learned from now, that, all right, from the time that I was helping you guys, now I need help. You weren't there. I know the people that I can count on. That's why there's this staff that I have now, that I know they were there and they're going to be there.
How was it easy for you to get a staff?
It wasn't that easy, but I guess the staff fell on my lap automatically, just because they see how my work ethic is. They see how I'm really out there with them, going marketing, posting, flyering, everything. And I talk to them constantly, communicate with them on the plans. This is how we are. This is what we're going to be. And eventually they all fell in, and they goes, you know what? We could do this for you, And I go, obviously, we could work together, and obviously you'll be compensated, And we started out with zero. With 2 or 0. Now we have probably a staff of 14.
How would you how would you say? No, maybe the wrong question. I guess I wanted to ask you, what's the hardest, what's the most challenging situation you found yourself in?
Oh man, challenging is, accountability, right?
Yes.
In every shows, you got to be. Accountability plays a big part in every show, whether it's money or tickets.
Yes.
It has to be accountable. The biggest thing I learned is always keep tickets, whether redeemed or not redeemed. Why?
Why is it important to keep the tickets?
Because the tickets aren't sold, you still have to count them.
Right.
Right? And everything has to balance. The ticket sold versus the ticket not sold. You have to balance that out to see what you profited.
Right.
And versus your physical count of the monetary.
Yeah.
And that's how everything balance out. But if you throw out tickets that aren't sold, there's no way to figure out really what got sold and what didn't.
Sounds like it happened to you. I was going to ask you, do you spend your money to produce shows, or do you spend other people's money?
Well, the way packages works out is the producers spend their money. It's packaged out.
So tell me, how does it work? So there's a difference between being a promoter and being a producer.
Yes.
Right? And you are considered a what?
A promoter.
But you also produce.
I also produce, yes.
Okay, so what's the ratio? 100%, 50% production, 50% promotion, or?
I think 75-25. 75% promotions, 25 producing.
Okay. Now, when you produce, do you use your own money or is this other people's money?
I try to find a co-producers, so it's a partnership.
Okay.
Okay, but rarely our own, just because it's 50-50. It has to be a profit sharing kind of deal. But as a promoter, what we do is basically for a group, we put a package together, get their talent fee together, how much per group cost.
Talent fee of the artist.
Artist, yes.
And then you sell, you get what? Airfare, all that stuff.
Airfare, the partial, everything, the visas,
Paperwork,
everything. And that's divided amongst how many shows we're targeting. And that's how we put it together. Of course, Bayan Promotions is not going to overprice.
Other promoters do overprice.
Yes, they do.
That I can tell you.
Believe it or not, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 in profit is good enough. Because why? We're after quantity and quality.
So let's say you make $1,000, $2,000 over cost per show. You're fine with that.
Oh, yeah. Because that was the money I never had to begin with.
Plus, you're having fun.
Exactly. So fun and something, a blessing like that came to you, I'm all for that. But the bottom line is, it's not all about making one-time, big-time kind of deal. You want more deals, more producers coming to you because you provide them with a great opportunity to make money.
Right.
And believe it or not, producers, you guys want to make money. That's the bottom line. How can you make money, though, if you're going to be overpriced with a package of artists that's,
Now, there was an incident where you had co-producers and your co-producers lost money and they were mad at you.
Yes. So that time, well...
Was it okay for them to be mad at you?
Not necessarily.
Set the record straight.
Just to set the record straight, not necessarily they have the right to get mad at me. It's because I did all the legwork. Okay? Their job, basically, I gave them just to sell tickets.
Right.
And that's not hard. They have many means of selling tickets. I sell tickets online. We do all the postering, the marketing, everything.
So in other words, let me understand this, because you're a promoter. When people might think when you're a promoter of the concert. No, you're not a promoter of the concert. You're a promoter of the artist.
Artist.
So let's pretend True Faith. Let's use True Faith as an example. It's a band from the Philippines. If you were the promoter of True Faith, you'd be promoting True Faith to producers.
Yes.
Who might be interested in purchasing the package from you.
Yes.
So that True Faith, an artist from the Philippines, can have a show in the States.
In the States, that's right.
Because I've heard producers lose money hating promoters because they would blame the promoter for not promoting their show.
Well,
that's false. That's false.
That's
right?
false. Yeah. Because
So explain it to our listeners and our viewers. As a promoter, who are you promoting? And as a producer, what do you need to do as a producer?
Okay, so as a promoter, obviously you got to promote the artist. You got to promote the show of the artist.
So you just said promote the show of the artist.
But at the same time, it's the artist that's there.
Right. So okay, now I'm confused. So you're promoting the artist and you're promoting the show of the artist.
For the producer.
But that's after the fact.
Yeah.
So you're that type of promoter. You would go
help. Technically,
But that's not really your job, right?
No. Supposedly, after I turn over the artist to you guys.
Let's pretend I'm the producer or the promoter.
All right, so I give you a package.
Let's say $25,000.
$25,000. Sign on the dotted line or everything.
I pay you $25,000.
All right, that's it. I'm done.
You're done with your job. You made your $2,000 or $1,000 or however.
That's how it should be for promoters.
And then you just let the producer, me, the local producer, do my marketing, do my ticket selling, do my logistics and all that stuff. So if I pay you $25,000, that's not my cost because I still have to pay for venue, for my staff, for my marketing, for everything.
Exactly.
Wow.
So that's the difference. But with Bayan Promotions, when I sell, I help you guys out. I help producers out.
So for this particular show that you had problems with your co-producers because you were also a producer in that show, no?
I was considered as a line producer.
Line producer. So why were they mad? Why were the producers mad at you?
They didn't get the expected return that they.
But
they
it's a
had.
gamble.
Exactly. So that's a thing. It's their first time producing the show.
Did you promise them that they will get their money back, or did you tell them it's an investment, and in investments you lose, you win, blah
No,
blah blah?
I didn't. I never promised them anything. I tell them this is the possibility that we could profit based on if we sell all tickets.
Based on if we sell all tickets.
That's I gave them the possibility. This is the profit we're gonna make. And again, like I said, they're pissed off just because of they didn't get their money, which they got about 4,000 back. Okay, now
But how much did they put out?
they put out at maybe close to $45,000.
45,000.
Yeah.
And they only got 4,000 back. Well, that's a loss.
Yeah,
That's a major loss.
So that's why the finger points at me.
I'd be mad at you.
But one of the producers lost tickets worth $2,000, and one of the producers pointed the finger at me that why I should be worried about those tickets being lost. I told him those tickets lost are my accountability.
Of course.
Because at the end of the show, I have to tell you guys what happened.
Right.
And he just told me, well, just worry about selling tickets. I'm like, okay.
But you sold a lot of tickets.
A lot of tickets online. I sold about almost $6,000-$7,000 worth of tickets.
Wow.
I mean, everyone had an assignment during that production. Everyone has an assignment to sell tickets. All they had to do was sell their bunch of tickets. There's
Right.
4 producers. I split all those tickets into 4, that also include what I have. So at the end of the show, they were telling me, why didn't they make money? I gave them a ledger. What was the cost? This is what
Right.
everything. And at the end of the day, they still had the guts to, call me names and put up reviews and whatnot. I mean,
How do you deal with this when they do that? Does it hurt?
it hurts at first because especially, you put your hard-earned effort,
Right.
Your time, you're away from work. After work, you work on it. I mean, it's hard. I mean, it's really, kasama ng loob, di ba?
Yeah.
So I read the review. I'm like, you know what? The show's done. Bottom line is people had fun. The audience had a outrageous time. The production was 100%, fulfilled. It was a good show.
It was.
Technically every show is a good show as long as the artist puts up their 100%. It's a good show.
So on the record, who did not put up 100%? If the artist placed 100% and you feel you placed 100%, who did not put up 100%?
Those 4 producers. And going back to what you said back then, and I shouldn't have gotten into it.
Of course.
Because from the get-go, when they talked to me, those 4 producers were already fighting on each other's throat.
So my question is, why did you, in spite of the fact that I told you not to get involved, why did you get involved?
I guess one is the adrenaline, that got to me. And I also had in mind that I was focused on the intro voice, right? So I'm
Yeah.
like, okay, it's my opportunity to showcase intro voice,
To use that as an opportunity to bring intro voice into the picture.
into the picture. Many things happened during that concert, as everybody knows.
Yes.
And it was an opportunity. First, it was just, you're just going to be a guest. Intro voice would just be a guest and just, introduce intro voice back to
because
the
I remember
limelight.
we ended up doing the whole show.
You ended up being the musical director.
Right.
So-
Reluctantly.
So I mean, to me, I worked with you guys. We met each other 2016, and I felt like you were really close to each other. So my main focus is promoting intro voice.
Yes.
And whatever artists we bring in that can collide and can collaborate actually with intro voice. And speaking of that, just go on BayanPromotions.com and see who they'll be colliding with.
Now, that being said, what have you learned through your journey as a live event promoter?
I've learned to just analyze things before even saying yes. How is it going to bring a good pot on my plate, a good amount on my plate? How's the artist? Who are the people I'm going to be working with? You know, because that's what's important. Who are you going to be working? Are they going to be a good relationship? It's all about relationship.
Is it about the money?
To me,
this doesn't pay the bills, right?
no. This is just, to me, it's just a hobby. You know, it's funny. It's a hobby. People might think, well, you're making money. It's a blessing.
Right.
I consider that as a blessing. I have a full-time job. You know, I'm
On
okay
top of
with it.
this.
On top of this,
And you're a full-time dad.
I'm a full-time dad, full-time married,
husband,
yeah.
So with a full-time job. Wow.
I have everything that I need already. You know, family, kids. I have a good job. Again, this is just a blessing, and a blessing not only to me, blessing to others, because I'm able to help other artists. You know, whether they haven't been in the U.S., haven't been promoted or whatever.
Yes.
Exposure. You know, and it's just the fact that, you know, once you give a blessing, God gives you something back. I mean, I don't expect anything back, but whatever it is what it is. I mean, you know.
That being said, how does this affect your family life? Because you mentioned a while ago, time is all you have. So how does this affect like your time with your family? Like right now you're here, your family's not here. Diba? So how does that affect that? How do you guys compromise, or do you guys compromise or give and take? What works for you?
So as far as family goes, as everybody saw when they watched Pop Rock Hip Hop, my staff was my family. Down to my kids. My kids were taking tickets. My kids were selling drinks. It was a family thing, you know? And then after a while, you know, we all talked together and they realized, well, how much it goes into it. I mean, they're kids. They want to say, no, Dad, we know what you're going through. But eventually me and my wife talked and realized, you know, if this is what I'm happy with, she's willing to support me. Same thing with the kids. Even up to this very day, you know, I mean, reluctantly, I mean, she can't be here. She's wanted to be here, but she's at work.
Hi, man.
But she's very supportive. Just like, you know, any projects, and there's other projects that I mentioned earlier, but this has nothing to do with artists, but another company.
Yes.
All she said, you know what, go. You know? All she said is, as long as we have food on our plate and you're here, you're alive, you come home, I'm okay.
Now, did you guys ever talk or considered moving to Los Angeles?
We have. We have.
Because there's nothing, no offense to the people of San Jose, but if you're in the music business, I mean, it's not San Jose, baby.
We have. We just have to finish up with the kids because school and everything. You know, my second son, Benjamin, he's finishing off high school.
You have a second son?
Yes.
What's his name again?
Benjamin.
Benjamin. Hi, Benjamin.
I have a first son too.
Sige na, batiin mo na. Okay. So once the kids are, so your first son is in the military, and then Benjamin is going to the military.
Yes.
And then your third, you have a daughter.
I have a daughter, 2 daughters.
High school or college?
I have one high school.
So you're gonna wait for her to finish high school?
Still thinking about that. My daughter's like into K-pop and Korean stuff.
Oh, she should live here.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Whenever we come here, she's very excited. Actually, when I came here, Dad, can you go to this place? I'm like, I'm not driving around this time. I'm just hanging around Paco's place, just chilling. I'm not driving around. She already has a list for me going.
So every time she's here, hi Dinah, maybe we should take her to K-Town. Koreatown.
Yeah.
So she can look at all her K-pop memorabilia.
Yeah.
And then your daughter Grace, who's friends with my daughter Cassidy. Yeah. Oh my God. Now, this is where it's gonna get tricky. Right now, you're busy doing this. When will you know that it's time to stop Bayan Promotions because it's affecting the family? Or when will it be time to stop the day job because it's affecting Bayan Promotions?
Well, one, if it's affecting families, definitely.
What would be the factors that would make you go, you know what, I'm not doing this anymore?
Well, if I'm neglecting my family, for sure. If like, instead of being there for them and not having a schedule for them or having a spend time with them, that's the time I have to think about, like, let me slow down.
Because you go on tour with your artist.
Yes. So that's the hard part.
And your kids are now like, would your wife allow you to be out during one of your kids' birthdays?
That's a turning point. You know, it's whenever I think about instances like that, I kind of bite my tongue. I'm like, man, if an event comes like this.
Because I remember I did not hang out with you and River Maya in Texas because it was
Yes.
my wife's birthday.
Yes.
And I know better. I'm like, nope. You guys better find someone else. I'm not going on that trip.
But I think as a mentor, I'll take your lead.
Right?
Yeah.
Makes perfect sense, right?
Yeah, because you're my wife, my kids are letting me do whatever. At least spend
Yes.
that one special moment with them. You know.
Would you have a problem telling your peers? Like, would you have a problem telling your staff at Bayan Promotions or the artist you're with, hey, I can't be with you on this day because blah, blah, blah is spending her birthday that day. Are you going to do that?
I definitely would. But first off, of course, set up logistics first. Set them up first. And then maybe have, our marketing head, Jill, go with
Yes.
them and take my spot. She can do the job. And that way they can go in. I'm all relaxed over here, not worrying about anything. So.
Tell me about logistics. That's So, how important is logistics in a production?
Very important because that's what sets everything up.
You looked it up, no?
Yeah, I looked it up the other day. He goes, "What's the logistic?" I'm like, for believe it or not, for how many years now, he's always been saying logistic, and finally I'm like, I gotta,
You got to look it up.
I can't just not say anything and then after an hour, okay, this is a logistic. It's all about what's going to happen,
Right.
Venues, looking for venues. That's part of logistic. You gotta make sure all the spaces are covered, itineraries and all that.
But it's fun, right?
yeah.
Like making all the gears work.
Yes.
If you have good logistics and all the gears are running
Yes.
smoothly.
And it like I said, having a good tight logistics is very good.
I remember when, just a funny story that maybe I'll share this part. So River Maya, you guys were having problem because only the 3 members of River Maya were here. Their manager wasn't here. Their keyboard player wasn't here. And that was like a messed up logistical issue, right?
Right.
Finally, their visas were released by the U.S. Embassy on the last day that they could have left the Philippines, and they made it to Ninoy International Airport,
Yes.
Ninoy Aquino International Airport in the Philippines, made it to LAX. I knew we had logistical problems with regard to who was going to pick them up at
Yes.
the airport. Finally, your production manager, Jill, decided to pick them up.
Yes.
And then we had logistical issues when we got to the Fonda Theater. So tell me, how messy was that?
It was, because they had our keyboardist on that flight,
Right.
and JJ would have been there, but then the plan was having Iman to be there.
Yes.
And we were like, oh, we got to make sure. We were sweating bullets, And again, for some reason we did something good in our life. God gives us this
It
little.
aligned, yes.
It's
Thank
like-
you, Lord. It aligned. Now, to avoid that, what would you do in the future to avoid things like that?
I like as far as visas, get that taken care of ahead of time.
Right.
Don't be the last minute kind of guy to where. Technically, we did things a little bit on the last minute end.
Yes.
Because we weren't able to, all
Again,
the
it was a
producers-
curveball.
Yeah.
A lot of curveballs.
Well, true. That absolutely true because that wasn't. Technically, we weren't supposed to do.
we weren't supposed to produce. Yes.
It was already set up with 3 shows.
Yes.
And we were just bringing the artists and we're done. But something happened in between. That's why we ended up having instant meeting. Like, oh, what are we gonna do? This,
Right.
this, and that. All of a sudden, obviously, it was on the verge of putting it together really quick.
Right.
That's why we didn't really see anything that might fall out.
That's where logistical issues
Fell off. Yeah.
and that's where they happen though.
Yeah.
That's where they happen. Now, moving right along 2020, which is the time that we're taping this, how can you ensure, what are the goals? What are the goals first of Bayan Promotions? Is it focus on international, meaning artists from the Philippines? Or is it focusing on local artists, meaning artists in California?
Goals of Bayan Promotion is obviously promote local artists. Local artists as far as like artists from the Philippines that migrated here, that are living here, like you guys, Inter
Yes.
Voice, Birthday Castro. You got, we the band that was formed, Pinoy Rock Review. Promote them, and obviously, Hyacinth is I'm gonna keep on saying her name because I think she has potential, 100% potential.
Bring her on the show. Bring her here.
Yeah.
If you're listening, Hyacinth, we want you here.
Now, ABS is trying to sign her up, so we got to get her before.
Good. Yeah.
So like I said, just promoting them and focusing on them.
Speaking of ABS, why haven't you approached them to help you?
Because I don't know anybody at ABS.
I mean, just knock on their door, right? I mean, that's how you know people. You knock on their door, and they'll either say no to you or they'll point you to the right direction.
I could. We could knock on some doors and see what opportunities can be opened.
Is there an organization for record? Is there an organization for concert promoters?
Well, they were trying to put something together with producers,
like Pinoy concert promoters.
Yeah, Kuya Joey Cummings was trying to put that like a producers guild. But the thing is, the book's gonna be dictating producers when and not to do shows, and I'm pretty sure some producers might not be,
of course,
in line with them because it's their livelihood or whatever it is that they're trying to make. It's gonna be put in jeopardize,
right?
But as far as organization goes, I think communication-wise, I think that's the only thing that all producers should do here in California. Communicate. Hey, I'm gonna have a show on this, so they don't collide, because everybody wants to make money. But if logistic doesn't play right and you have a show here and I have a show here on the same day,
What if someone tells you, I'm going to throw it back at you. What if a producer calls you and tells you, hey, Joseph, please don't do a show on this date because I'm doing a show on this date. But that's the only day that your artist is available. What will you do?
I would ask, what part of California you're playing?
Let's say 20 miles away, which is very close to
20 miles away. Then I would look at the artist. As far as who's gonna as far as races,
right?
Who's gonna race to come in? Which one will which cheese goods taste better?
Right.
So again, it goes with promoting, it goes with marketing. The earlier you market, the earlier you get the crowd excited. Even if this person comes in, you already captured maybe 25% of the crowd, maybe even 50. Having your promotion set up the right way, the right time plays a big role. Even though assuming they do come to me like that, I'm like, fine, but I'll have my gear on and let's just
What pisses you off?
What pisses me off really is people fishing. What do I mean?
Yes.
Is because there's certain individuals, people, group that will call me and just fish ideas. Like, oh, what do you think about this?
But you end up talking to them anyway.
I do.
Why don't you stop talking to them?
It's just me being a person because they approach me as a person. So I return the favor back. But again, experience is the best training in life. I learned my lesson from this past experience that, try to analyze people if they're fishing informations. Because they'll fish and I'll find out from that person that I was mentioning about. Then next thing, I see what they're doing.
Is this tachycardia you're talking about?
Yes, it's tachycardia.
Oh my God, that was like a whooshing.
Oh man.
That guy. But
it's
shout out to you. What's his name? Chris?
Chris.
Yeah, I'm glad you I'm glad that you stood down. Diba? It was nice. His wife is nice. But I spoke with his wife. So shout out to tachycardia. Yeah. I guess that's what you get when you're new in the business. You tend to step on people. Yep. Have you done that?
Nope, never. I figured, I've always been humble because I don't want things done to me. So I don't want to do it to others.
Right.
It's basically, I believe in the cycle of life. It's karma.
Yeah.
So I believe that. So the best thing really is do what's right, and do what's right for your neighbor, and you'll be all set.
You can live in peace.
Yeah. It is what it is. You can't really go wrong if you really be humbled and you're God fearing,
Yes.
that's what it is. So
Now, that being said, no, what would you advise people who want to go into production? Would you stop them? Would you encourage them? Or would you just stay out of it?
well, first things first. If that's their passion, they have the heart for that. By all means, go right ahead.
Because other people would just do it because they think that they can make money doing it, right?
But I mean, like I mentioned earlier, right? Promoting and being a promotion or being a promoter, it's not all about money. You got to have passion. You got to enjoy what you do. Because it doesn't make sense, just like our job. We got to enjoy our job. It doesn't make sense. You go walk through that door 5 days a week and you don't enjoy your job. Same thing here with being a promoter. How can you promote every single time if you're not happy, right? You're not enjoying. You're always pulling your hair out. But that didn't happen to me. I already had I had my hair out already prior to promoting. Okay, all right. But literally, you gotta have the passion, just like the intro
Commitment.
voice.
How about
commitment too? But the thing I'm really focusing on, just like the intro voice, you guys have passion.
Yes.
Through this years, you guys are still intact.
Yes.
There's never been an OPM band that's intact for so many years. There's many that
Yes.
fallen out, just because they had their own thing doing. You guys have your own thing here, but you guys are still intact. When they want intro voice, it's like, Voltes 5, let's all vault in.
We're here.
That's what I admire, and that's my mentality right now. It's all about, I love what I'm doing.
How can they start?
Just having the right mentor, I think. I mean, to me, like I said, I've never thought I'd be doing this.
No, but when you started, I wasn't your mentor. You started with First Vita Plus, and you took charge of that because your then mentor wanted you to take charge of that. Remember? Now, let's say there was no Paco to help you out. How would you advise other people to start? What do they need?
Well, I guess what they really need is like I mentioned. I mean, you have to be open.
So we know that they have to have the passion.
Passion.
Now that they have the passion, what's next?
I don't know what else is next. I mean, on my end, just what I can say based on what I experienced is when I went into Vita Plus, I had the support of my wife. From then on, I applied. There wasn't really any mentoring going on with First Vita Plus because the person that was here wasn't really part of my group.
Yes.
So it was literally just me learning on my own, see how I can grow. And then obviously my management skills, because I've been in management for 15, 20 years. So that kind of take part of being a networker, because I know how marketing works. Okay. So I guess, how would I advise them to get started? Aside from passion, is really have the mindset. Have a mindset, have a
Nice.
goal. Okay. And then just start writing things down. And what's on your head, checklist. You taught me that.
Setbacks. How do you deal with setbacks?
You got to always be prepared for setbacks. If plan A didn't go as you plan, you got to have plan B. So it's always, for me, I'll admit I'm not really good for setbacks, because when there's a setback, it's like, oh shoot, what am I gonna do? That's my thing, and my wife knows it too. And because when I plan things, I plan everything to go right.
Yes.
But then obviously not everything's perfect. So when something goes wrong, I start like sweating bullets.
I think your wife has a more level-headed demeanor, no?
Yeah.
She's cool under pressure, no?
Yeah,
Your wife.
yeah. Just like the pop rock hip hop thing.
Yeah.
I was sweating bullets. I'm like, how are we gonna get food in here? How are we gonna get food to the people? My wife goes, relax, I got this.
So I guess the first step is to have a level-headed wife. or
Yes, very,
partner.
very, yeah.
If you don't have a mentor, your partner has to be level-headed.
Yeah. It plays a big part in being a promoter, having a wife that really supports you, because that's how you're gonna de-stress. your better half de-stressed you because the point that, gives good words. Because if you have no mentor to talk to, it's your wife.
Right.
If not your wife, your partner, whoever it
Right.
is, And I think moving forward as a promoter, you'll be successful as long as you stay humble. Okay. Mingle with the right people. That's the key. Mingle with the right people. And again, based on experience, don't let them take advantage of you. Having the right people, being focused on what you do, that's the key, I think, in becoming a promoter. I mean, I don't know what else I could give advice to them. Just, always leave everything up to God.
Amen.
Pray for what you need, not what you want.
True.
And it'll be provided. I mean, everything that I have that I've been doing with being promoter,
Yeah.
it's all like I claim. It's like, God will help me get through this, and this will be a success. Eventually, it becomes a success.
Amen.
And I'm getting goosebumps
I
by
know.
saying this, dude.
So again, to find out about you, where can they go?
They can go to bayanpromotions.com.
We'll also leave that in the link here in the description. And thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm very, very,
Appreciate
very honored to be here and be part of this show.
I'm going to leave a link so that you guys can like the Bayan Promotions page. Also, don't forget to, if you like this podcast, don't forget to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the YouTube channel, as well as follow us and subscribe to us on iTunes and Spotify. Joseph Bayan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. This won't be the last. Marami pa tayong pag-uusapan.
Init pala pag nakaupo ka dito.
Diba?
Ang init.
Actually,